Welcome to Bites of Change. Hello, everyone. My name is Ifeoma Garba. I'm the head of external relations with the WFP country office here in Zimbabwe. So what is Bites of Change? This is a podcast series, a platform for having conversations around food and nutrition security in Zimbabwe. It will be one that will bring together great minds from the public sector, the private sector, and also from our cooperating partners in the NGO world. The podcast series will be highlighting some of the key things we've done in Zimbabwe as a collective to improve food and nutrition security. That's one. And secondly, we'll also be looking at what are the amazing things that we have in Zimbabwe in terms of food. How do we cook this? How do we make this more nutritious? These are some of the conversations we'll be having. We'll take you back behind the scenes to see how lives have been changed and improved over the years. The WFP has been here for over 20 years. So what have we done? What do you know about us? What do you want to know about us? Write in as well. You can tell us, give us feedback on some of the things that you've seen on the series. But I sincerely think you're going to have a great time, More Chambers. So tune in and expect to see you all soon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bites of Change, a podcast by WFP Zimbabwe, which showcases and highlights areas around food and nutrition security. My name is Ifeoma Garba. I'm the head of external relations with the World Food Program here in Zimbabwe. Today, we'll be talking about resilience, focusing on how it is that we need to get the building blocks right for us to be able to get to the stage where we want to go to in terms of food and nutrition security in Zimbabwe. So with us today to discuss that, we have a special guest on here who's an entrepreneur and who's also built his business in the food industry from the scratch, getting to where he is right now. So we'll be talking to the CEO of Glytime Foods, Mr. Lesley Marange. Hello, Lesley. How are you doing?
Hey, Ifeoma. How are you?
Good to have you here again. And as you know, today we're going to be talking about something very, 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 very important to Zimbabwe, right? We're looking at food and nutrition security. We're looking at resilience. We're looking at the role that the private sector plays in security, food and nutrition security, sorry. So before we start that, maybe let's get to know you a little bit, right?
Okay.
So we know you're the CEO of Glytime Foods. We know your story of how you came up, but not everybody else knows this. So maybe you want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself. A little background about what inspired you to go into this whole area.
No, thank you for having me, Ifeoma. I think this is a very beautiful podcast, and I'm happy to be here. Let me just give a very short background of myself, right? Growing up as a young man, I grew up in a prison camp. My father being a prison officer and my mother being a teacher, right? So it's unlike most environments that most people grow in. So I realized at a very tender age that I had a passion to cook. Okay. And my mother was very impressed by that, right? But my father wasn't too happy because he said, no, this is not a boys thing. Like boys should go in the fields, farm and things like that. So when I was going for my Form 1, right, my mother snitched an apron. And then inside an apron, she wrote a letter to say, please follow your dreams.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I was like 13. So for me, it really cemented in my heart to say, okay, mommy is rallying behind me. So let me go and follow my dream. So I then started doing food and nutrition and, I was so passionate with it. It was the building block for my career, really.
Oh, really?
And
I didn't know you cooked, Lesley.
Not anymore, of course. Okay. So
we'll come back to that.
Okay. We'll talk about it. So really, it was the building block. And I had an A in food and nutrition. And I was the first person to get an A at the school that I attended. And I was like, wow, so I can actually do more. I went A-level, did food science, biology, and chemistry. Went to university, did a degree in food science and technology. So during my university days now, I was so motivated by the Kellogg story, the Nestle story. And I said to myself, if Nestle could do it, if Kellogg's could do it, why not me from this other side of the world, right? But then the health and the nutrition field was then shaped by my mother. My mother has been diabetic for the past 40 years, and she has been struggling with alternatives on how and what she could eat. So I then said, okay, how can I help her so that she can have diversity on the table? So it was also a trigger of how I then entered into the health space. And then with more enlightenment and other things, Zimbabwe is struggling with non-communicable diseases. Every year, 40% of our deaths are coming from non-communicable diseases. People are dying. So I also said, how can I contribute to cap this surge? And you go to Europe, you go to Asia, the standard life for any adult is 84, 86 years. But here,
not the same here.
If you make it up to 50, wow, you have actually done well. So these are some of the, ideas and some of the motivators that then brought me into this space.
Okay, so I know that you're very passionate about health and nutrition, and I know you also follow what's going on, like in terms of the data that's out there. For 2025, according to the ZIMLAC results and the reports, about 1.5 million, I think, people in the rural area, right, are going to be food insecure, particularly from January to March this year. And that's a huge number compared to what we had last year. It's gone down. But these are the things that we continue to grapple with in Zimbabwe and some other parts of the world. So for you, the work that you do right now, how does this feed into making sure that we're moving people from actually being dependent to resilience? How do you tie your story now to what it is that we need to do in Zimbabwe to be able to get to where we want to be?
No, just in addition to that, Ifoma, even the urban folks are struggling. I think the urban statistics that are saying 1.7 million are food insecure in the urban area. So this is no longer a rural thing. It's now a rural and an urban thing. So, which then makes it a nationwide problem, right?
Correct.
And for me, I think there is need for intentionality, for us to be intentional. Do we have solutions? Yes, we have. I mean, we have got climate smart crops that we can plow, which are more drought resistant. Are we being intentional about making them priority? I think these are things that we now need to focus on. Correct. Not just that, but we also need to add value to them so that the palatability of them becomes more, people can endorse them better. People can appreciate them better. So I think there is need for intentionality. And as Glytime, I think we are working that path to really try and bring that diversity of our local palates, to create excitement around our local palates, so that at least it feeds into the whole global or the whole national mandate that we have to try and move most of our people from being food insecure to food insecure. And not just that, to also being nutritious. I think that's
what we need to do.
Yeah.
I like the part of the value addition. When we talk about value addition, a lot of times we're only thinking about canning foods or taking fruits and making them into puree, or tomatoes into like a paste or something. For you, what does that mean?
For me, I think we are working on our indigenous knowledge, right? Because there's a lot that is around our indigenous knowledge, because we are just using a strategy that we call localization, right? Looking at global trends, but bring it back home using the natural and available resources. For example, let me give you an example. What we recently did. We know people love cereal. We know people love peanut butter. We know people love granola. We just infused granola with peanut butter. And it's wow, people are enjoying it. Not just that, we have got a heritage-based granola where we are infusing our own masau, our own baobab. Those are very nutritious products, but we're just commercializing them so that they become more acceptable, they become more commercially viable, they become more attractive to consume, and they become readily available to our people. So this is what it means to us to be involved in this space of innovation, and just utilizing what we have, creating sustainable value chains, making sure that we also contribute to, because I'm a Marange boy, I come from the rural areas, right? And I've got a mandate to my people to make sure that whatever they invest in terms of farming, there is need for a market for those. So these are things that we are also actively participating so that we create sustainable value chains for our people. Ultimately, a better future for our people and better nutrition.
I think that's the reason why we're actually having this conversation today, because you as Glytime and WFP, we do have a lot in common, right? We want to make sure that people are food and nutrition secure, but not only that, but making sure that we're moving them from the quality of life that they have now to a much better one and much healthier one. And that's what the plan is. So Lesley, let's go back to WFP and Glytime Foods. What are the areas of collaboration that you see as, what do you think we can do together in terms of not just food and nutrition security, but looking at the infrastructure and the value chains that we need to also focus on? What are some of the things that you think we could do together as a private sector investor, someone who's interested?
Yeah.
What do you think?
So I think just the fact that Glytime and WFP are being named in the same statement, it just brings a wow effect to me, right? Because WFP is global. So it brings authenticity to us as Glytime that we are also committed to the global commitment of hunger. We are committed to alleviating our people from poverty. We are committed to nutrition. We are committed to creating sustainable value chains. So as I'm looking into this thing, right, it's something that comes with a lot of excitement, right? From the fact that your focus areas and our focus areas are the same. So if we come together, there is an element of pulling our resources in the same direction, right? And as I'm looking at it, if I'm going to break down to you, Ifoma, we are into manufacturing, right? We are also concerned about the smallholder farmers. We are concerned about the value chain, sustainability. We are concerned about resilience. We are concerned about nutrition, right? So Glytime can create an industrial hub, right? An industrial hub which then absorbs, all the primary agriculture that is happening, not just primary agriculture, and even set up, a bit of secondary agriculture where the product is being off-taken from, and then from there create viable products. Now we are off-taking from the farmer, which means the farmer is able to go back again and do the same. And we are value-adding the product that the farmer has managed to bring. If that happens, right, it also helps us pivot. We can actually then service the region. We can service, all these school feeding programs, government initiatives, and things like that. So I think we need to move with intent. We need to be very intentional about this collaboration because we need to make it sustainable, right? I think we are now in a different space where donor funding was flowing and everything. Now we want to teach our people how to do things the proper way. If they don't give us the output, we have no input for our production to happen. So it also creates that ecosystem where everyone participates, but in an economically viable way. And what does it do? The farmer has got a ready market. We go there, we do supply audits, we teach them on the quality and everything. So we are strengthening our supply chains, we are strengthening our quality mandate, we are strengthening the way we are doing things, and it gives us an edge coming together and tackling this problem in a unified voice.
Correct, because WFP is actually looking at ways in which we now want to transition into making sure that what we're doing is sustainable and more viable as well. Because like you said, the donor market, the donor landscape has changed. Yeah. So we have to think outside the box now. And I like what you said, because you're saying something, let me use a metaphor to describe it now. Yeah. So you're saying we need to not just show people or teach people how to fish, but where to fish, when to fish, how to fish, and how to preserve that fish. Exactly. So that's how we're going to be able to maintain this whole ecosystem.
Exactly.
And thank you for that.
Yeah.
So with this said now, there's just one more question I have to ask you for now.
Yeah, go ahead.
On moving you as an individual, your inspiration for Glytime Food, what would be your advice in terms of if this is an area that you want to go into, what would you advise a young person to do? How is it that the youth will be involved in what you're doing or want to move that forward?
No, that's a very interesting question, Ifoma, because if we come together, like create a regional hub, which means there are a lot of players that are going to be involved, right? There is going to be, number one, the farmer, right? And the farmer needs input, right? And the farmer needs mechanization. The farmer needs irrigation. And there is going to be post-harvest management, storage silos. There's going to be secondary production, your roasting, your grading. There's going to be logistics. There's going to be, apps that are used by the farmer to manage the fields, right? There's going to be, like when we produce, we need to also take the product into the market, the merchandising, distribution of the product. So it creates an entire ecosystem where everyone can participate. The women can participate, the young people can participate. And recently, let me just share with you, I traveled to Japan. They've got a structure that they have made, right? where the automotive industry becomes the mother of industries, and all other SMEs, they feed into the motor-automotive. So I'm looking at it where Glytime becomes the regional hub, right? And all other players in the agro-processing value chain feed into that ecosystem. Now they've got a ready market for their product. There's technical assistance. There is an entire ecosystem that has just been created. And I can tell you this can create massive employment for our people. Not just massive employment, but gainful employment for our people, because we are trading for it. And once this concept is good, I think there's also room for it to be replicated, across continents, because WFP is a global business. And this is for us a pivot for us to also go global in terms of how we do things, because we have got a tried and tested model that can be scaled. So this comes with a lot of excitement, in all aspects.
Okay, so from humble beginnings to big things and big dreams, and moving ourselves forward to more food and nutrition secure Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Lesley. We'll take a short break right now. We'll be right back.
You're watching and listening to Bites of Change, the WFP Zimbabwe podcast series, which takes us across the land, communities, to villages, to districts, and also to our township areas as well. Keep watching Bites of Change, Zimbabwe.
I would like to warmly congratulate the World Food Program for this initiative. Youth Empowerment Leadership Program is innovative and it is strategic. It demonstrates how an agency can evolve its thinking and respond to emerging development priorities in a way that is both practical and forward-looking. Asking, what more can we do? Who else do we need to invest in to truly achieve our mandate? That is WFP. That is the United Nations. And to my colleagues across the United Nations system, thank you for the work you continue to do every day to expand opportunities for young people across Zimbabwe.
Think differently and innovate. We also expect you to represent your communities and inspire others. And most importantly, we expect you to translate what you gain here into meaningful impact. You are pioneers of this program.
So it is important to note that the significance of this beautiful gathering cannot be overemphasized. Your presence is a testament that you support and believe in youth development.
We have successfully made it into the inaugural young cohort. Your selection into this competitive program is no small achievement. It is a direct reflection of your immense potential, your proven commitment to leadership, and your willingness to contribute towards the development of your communities and our nation. You should take deep pride in this accomplishment. At the same time, I encourage you to view this opportunity not simply as recognition, but as a profound responsibility.
Even the Yelp team, I have seen them in action. This is a very diverse and vibrant group of young people who are going to do amazing things wherever they go. And I know it's halfway through the time that we've been, but already I can see the potential and the future is bright.
Today, through the launch of Yelp, we reaffirm our commitment to ensure that young Zimbabweans are equipped to lead, innovate, and contribute meaningfully to the development of our nation. Allow me at this outset to express, on behalf of the government of Zimbabwe, our sincere appreciation to the World Food Program, United Nations, frankly, and our valued development partners whose commitment and collaboration have made this important initiative possible. This program stands as a testament to what can be achieved when institutions unite around a shared vision for youth empowerment and national development.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. And thanks, Lesley, for hanging on with us here. We're now going to talk about your factory, that massive edifice that you have. I know you started from a really small place, your house to be particular, right? And then you moved to somewhere else. So we want to hear about that. And then we want to hear about your factory. What's going on there now? How is this working? And how's the journey been so far?
Okay. No, thank you once again, Ifoma. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a very interesting journey.
Hasn't it?
Yeah. So maybe just to give perspective what Glytime means, it's my mother's name Gladys and my young sister's name Timely. So your
young sister's name is Timely.
Yeah.
I'm still getting used to the Zimbabwe names, but okay, this works.
Yeah, I think she came at the right time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's Gladys and Timely to come up with Glytime.
Okay.
Yeah, in 2018, I decided to leave a very high-paying job. Okay. I was employed with a very stock exchange listed company. But I decided, you know what, let me just try this thing out. You know, it was a sugar company and I was seeing table sugar sales going down. Okay. You know, from the time I joined the institution, it was like 87%, and it was down to 17%.
Oh, wow.
And I was curious, why are we having this drop? Yeah. So I then realized people are getting more health conscious. And then I said, okay, how can I participate into this journey? Yeah. And I, suggested that, can I be a product development person? And they seconded me for the job. And I innovated very interesting things. Mm-hmm. And I saw a very huge jump, in terms of the sales and everything. So I actually then said, okay, I can actually come up with commercially viable concept. Why then can I not then follow my dream?
Okay.
It was not easy. I left my job 2018. We were just using the house oven to make granola. The first granola that we produced in a day was 8 kgs. We just used to make 8 kgs all day through, like during the day.
Who are we?
Oh, me and my wife.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and the granola concept really, where it also emanated is my wife was pregnant and she was struggling with constipation. And my mother-in-law came and she prepared granola for her and the constipation went away. And I was like, okay, this is a good landing page. And that was my first time to know granola, by the way, in 2018. Because
you hadn't heard of granola before 2018?
I want to be honest. That was my first time. Yeah. So I then said, okay, can I then improve this concept and, develop it further and make it more nicer? So I started then working on it. And you know what we used to do in the morning? She used to wake up in the morning, cook the meals for the day, like literally cook the meals for the day. And remember in Zimbabwe, sadza.
Famous sadza.
We can eat it anytime, in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening.
Yes.
And then the other time we could commit the time for production. Mm-hmm. So we used to then do production, and it was a 24-hour. I used to have a shift, like the other guys would work up to 6 in the evening, and the other guys would work from 6 to. But we only could achieve 8 kgs in a day. Yeah, so we used to produce like 8 kgs in a day, and we got our first client, which was a local retailer. Mm-hmm. They were very happy because they were importing the product. And I said, no, we haven't been getting this product anywhere in the local scene. So I can confidently say I was the first granola manufacturer in Zimbabwe. And from there, the bigger supermarkets also recognized the brand. And they asked for more from us. And how did we then pull it out? I then get a very big order because remember I was doing $318 in a month. And then I got an order for 20,000 from a bigger retailer. And my head started rolling to say, how can I sustain this? And then the next thing is I called around, finance people. How do you manage when you don't have the capital, but you have got the order? I then learned about order financing. And then from there, I got money for order financing for the raw material, sustain that order. And then in the process, we lost a lot of money. Inflation happened, currency instability happened. We also had issues, when you're still starting, your product is not as stable as you want it to be. We had quality issues. So in the process, we lost money. But I think we just remained focused, resilient. COVID came. That was late 2019 into 2020.
2020.
Yeah, and it got a toll of us, but it also created an opportunity because people were using honey a lot. And then we started getting honey from farmers and then trading. And I think that's helped us during the COVID period. And then post-COVID, 2021, because already we had a brand that was now vibrant in the market. And we are now exporting a bit to Zambia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the local financiers, one of the biggest financial institutions in this country, recognized the brand. And then they came to us and then they said, we have seen what you guys are doing and we want to support you. We are looking for a small business, a youth-owned business that we can support. And my balance sheet by then was close to 380,000. By then I'd actually built in asset-backed machinery, vehicles for work and everything. And even the property that I had, everything was just for the business.
Yes.
So I had a decent balance sheet. But the amount that they wanted to put in was probably a couple of X's, different. So they had to then use the future of the business to make the investment. But one of the key things that helped us to secure the investment was because we went through a due diligence.
Correct.
There was the legal due diligence, there was the financial due diligence, there was the commercial due diligence. They checked on our books. From day one, I had all the numbers, the profit and losses, all the losses that we have made. I was accounting for everything. And we are compliant with the regulators like your ZIMRA. We are paying our taxes and everything.
Correct.
And legally, we had no issues in the courts. We had no disputes with anyone. Commercially, we also had a vibrant product that was also present in the market. And I think our due diligence came like 88% compliant. And then they said, okay, pre our investment, sort out the 12%. And we had to sort out the 12%, which were very little issues. But I think one thing that what impressed the most was how we were conducting our business.
Your business.
Unlike most SMEs, they don't keep records. It's just everything is jumbled up. But for us, we were very structured. So they had confidence in us to say, no, if these guys are this structured, they can actually be able to, accommodate this money. And when the money came, you know how it is. It's money that you have never met or probably nobody have ever told you about.
Yeah.
So we utilized that money well. We did not drive fancy cars. We did not change location.
You didn't buy fancy clothes either.
Yeah, fancy clothes either. Never made fancy trips. We just kept our eyes on the ball. And then when they saw that we did that, they actually gave us another money. And then they gave us. So far they've invested in us 3 times.
Oh, that's
but because
really
of
good.
the discipline that we have showed over time,
Good lesson there.
Yeah, because they trust us. We offer them a difference. So one thing that I've realized is there's no shortage of resources. But there is shortage of business that can accommodate the resources. I think that's where the issue is.
And you have to keep your eye on the ball as well.
You need to keep the eye on the ball and be focused and make sure that you deliver the results. So all the things that have happened, I think they are coming out as an element of discipline. Discipline on the money, discipline on relationships, discipline on stakeholders, discipline on... And once you manage that aspect, you see that a lot of things
start falling in place.
Yeah, so I think what probably I would encourage most of us to do is let's start from where we are, but be disciplined enough to be accountable to ourselves. Because once we don't do that, once we don't have the structures that can accommodate the resources, then the resources won't come. But the resources are there. Actually, investors are looking where to put the money. But we don't have the structures that accommodate the money. So I think that's an element that probably would be good for people to know. Yeah.
Okay, so having said all this, there's something that just came to my mind now. So how are you going to plow back all this into besides the business that is now, like for the young people?
Yeah.
do you have any plan in terms of how you're going to be able to integrate the young people of Zimbabwe into do you have like a youth program? Do you have something that you're already doing on the side? Do you have like a foundation? What is it that your focus is? Besides your business, how do you want to also be able to give back to the society?
So for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been doing a lot of work through different institutions. Zimtrade, we have done technical interventions. I do technical interventions for young people. The Next Year Exporter, the Eagle's Nest. I've created a retail channel where young people can actually sell their produce in that retail channel. I've assisted some young people who are exporting using my own account to also take the product outside the Zimbabwean market. And most of the farmers that we also work with, we've got a very huge youth quota that we are also supporting. As youthful as I am, but I'm also a brother's keeper. I'm also making sure that we are pulling each other, because I believe I'm a Pan-Africanist. United we stand, divided we fall. And once we pull in the right direction, I always tell myself, do you know what? You can't be smart enough I'll use my Shona. Quita number 1 in class Madofo. It literally means if you become the best in a class of people that are not so smart, you are not smart
not really
either.
The best.
Yeah, you're not smart either. So it's better for you guys to pull each other so that at least, and in the process, you create an ecosystem. And once an ecosystem is created, then, you are better people at the end of the day. So there's been a lot of work I invest a lot of in. Even my recent visit to Japan, I've actually been trained to be a consultant for productivity and, continuous improvement in factories. And this is something that I'm going to give back to my fellow colleagues to say, guys, this is what the world is all about. Let's do this to improve our operations. Let's do this. But you need also to be ready for you to accommodate all these changes, this continuous improvement going forward.
And then, of course, you employ a lot of young people in your organization.
Of course. I think currently about 78 of us. And I think most of us are young. I'm probably one of the oldest in our ecosystem, but most of the people are young. And by the way, 52% are women. Young
Which
women,
is great.
that we employ in our institution. And I think as we are fully integrating the value chains, there's more that we are actually doing downstream, upstream, within the process, entire value chain. There's actually a lot that is happening. Directly 78, but indirectly, I can actually tell you that probably we are impacting 1,000 or even 1,005 people in the value chain, women, youth, and people like that.
Okay. I also know that you have like a foundation, right? Or something that you do in terms of giving back.
Yes, we do that. It's not a structured
foundation per se.
Yes, but there's a lot of effort that we do to take kids to school, to support initiatives, sports initiative, there's a lot that we are, but mostly from the schools that I attended.
Okay.
So I've been supporting, sporting, and through the support that I've given so far, I've seen young people excelling even at national level with volleyball, with handball, so they just need that support. New jersey, it means a lot, new kids means a lot. Motivational speeches to just encourage them, you can do it. It means a lot to them. So, giving back always has a way of, encouraging the young people so that they can also be focused and determined and look into the horizon.
Yeah. Okay, so we also, as you know, WFP also has a youth program that's running right now, right? The youth leadership program. Yeah. You were part of the presentation, a few of the presentations we made. Yeah. You were part of the conversations we had around our new country strategic plan. Yeah. So what are your thoughts and what do you think WFP should be doing in this area? Well, what are the things that you think that we should do better if we're not doing so well? And what are the areas you think we should be going into a bit more?
So far, I think, growing up, we used to think WFP just brings us food. Yeah. It was how we perceived you. But through my interaction with you, I've seen that you guys do actually more than that. right? Giving psychosocial support, not just that, but even the empowerment bit, helping young people so that, helping ecosystems so that they are more vibrant, they are more sustainable. So now it's like you have rightly said at the beginning of the episode, it's not giving people the fish, it's now about giving them how to do the fishing in a more sustainable way. So I think WFP, from how we perceived you and what you guys have done so far, I think you deserve, yeah. So I'm really impressed with and I'm also happy to be part of this ecosystem to also contribute to the greater cause so that Zimbabwe can be a better place for everyone and we can rise up and become a nation of not.
Yeah, thank you. This has been truly inspiring. I like the whole story of how you started and where you are now. And we can only wish you the best, right? I know you're going to take over the world at some point.
Yeah,
I see you doing that.
You.
You're
Thank
still
you.
very young and you have all these wonderful visions. So I'm sure you're going to get to where you want to go soon. So with that, we'll just take a short break again and then we'll be back.
Hello once again. We're still watching Bites of Change and listening to Bites of Change, a WFP Zimbabwe flagship podcast program. We're talking to the decision makers, we're talking to the government. We're still in the middle of trying to unravel the truth around resilience and how we're able to build our nation. We're talking about food security. We're talking to our partners in the private sector, their roles and what they need to do to be able to move this country forward. We're talking to everybody that matters. We're talking to people in the field. We're listening to stories, backstories, and stories that help to shape us as a nation. We're listening to everything that we need to do to be able to move this country forward and make it more food and secure for the future.
Switzerland, through the Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation, has enjoyed a strong and trusted partnership with the World Food Programme WFP in Zimbabwe and in the region since 2018. Together, we've been helping communities, both in rural and urban areas, become more resilient, secure their livelihoods, and adapt to the effect of climate change. In cities like Bulawayo, Gwero, Mutare, our joint urban food security and resilience building program has transformed life. Over 1,000 households have improved their food security through cash transfers, livelihood support, and skills training. Many families have moved from dependency to self-reliance, and thousands have started small businesses in areas like poultry, horticulture, and small-scale manufacturing. This partnership has especially empowered women and youth. As a result, more women and youth now play a role in household decision-making and run their own enterprises, engaging people from the community. In rural areas, through the R4 Rural Resilience Program, we support smallholder farmers to manage climate risk with access to better farming technique and equipment, community infrastructure, but also supporting services such as savings and credit. Farmers, therefore, have improved their ability to increase incomes and also to cope with drought. Together, Switzerland and the World Food Programme are not only supporting households, but also shaping policies, such as the strategies on urban agriculture we have jointly supported, but also the National Sustainable Livelihood Manual that will ensure that impact of what we have done together will last longer. Looking ahead, we are committed to working with WFP and the people of Zimbabwe to build a more inclusive, food secure, and climate resilient future.
Okay, so welcome back to my favorite part of the podcast, which is the part where we eat food, right?
Yeah.
And today we'll be tasting some of Lesley's products. And I know a lot of people would rather have this with milk, but I'm going to be eating this all through. So, Lesley, would you tell us about what we have here today? We have the granola.
Yeah.
What's in this?
So that's peanut butter granola. So because most of our farmers were struggling with how to sell the peanuts, so we said, how can we include that in our formulation, right? And I haven't seen any peanut butter granola in the market. Everywhere I've traveled, there's no peanut. So it came as a new innovation for me to say, okay, why don't we add peanut butter in there? Because already, like our palates, People love peanut butter. We love. I know you love it from the way you're
I
chewing.
love it. I eat peanut butter straight from the jar. So
yes. So I think it's just an infusion, and it worked out. So people are loving this thing, and it's rocking the streets of Southern Africa. You go to Zambia, they're liking it. Mozambique, they're liking it. Botswana, they're liking. Here in Zim, they're liking it. So people are just enjoying this thing. So this is part of how we do our things, infusing local palates with global trends. And this is typically what it is all about.
So in terms of nutritional content, what's this? What would you say this?
So the most exciting things, right? I'll tell you about the vitamin Bs. There's like all the vitamin Bs in there, from vitamin B1, B2, B3, up to B12. And the most difficult vitamin to get is B12, but you have it in that peanut butter granola. And not just that, people who struggle with constipation, this is your go-to, when you have got high sugar blood spikes, this is your go-to because of the oats content. It has got slow release of energy and it doesn't spike your sugar. So because we have also made it as a snack, you can have it in the morning, you can have it during the afternoon, you can even have it at night, so it accommodates all ranges and people are just enjoying it and they are snacking it. I've just recently visited a friend who I did not expect to have it. He had it in his office and like, you know what, this is now my go-to. I'm no longer burdening myself with a lot of, because normally when you eat high starchy products, you become sleepy. So people, they are using this to keep them active for the day. And normally, have you realized after a heavy breakfast, you get in the office, you want to use probably a coffee to kind of jag yourself up.
Yes.
It's because your system has been burdened by a lot of carbs. But if you have something that releases carbs in a very slow way, then that helps you. So even for the enthusiasts, those who run, you jog, the fanatics, they're happy to use this product because it's a blend of carbohydrate and good source of protein. And with the fruits, we also then enhance the flavor and things like that.
And everything you use from here, is this all locally sourced?
Yeah, I can say 65% is locally sourced. Yeah, there are some raw materials that we are still struggling because of our terrain and, like your coconut. We don't have coconuts in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So coconuts, we have to then take them from Mozambique and things like that so that we use them for flavoring. So, but 65-70% is all local. The honey that we use for the product is all local.
You did speak about the honey earlier on. And then, of course, peanut butter is one of your hottest items in Zim as well. I love it.
Yeah.
Did I just drop that? I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, product number 2, let's talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
I've never tried this. This is my first time I've tried this.
Oh, okay.
Granola I had tried before.
Yeah.
This is my first time. What's this?
So these are oats, these are oat-based cookies, right? People love snacking, but we're just making it healthy. So we have infused with your pumpkin seeds. Normally when we used to grow up, our mothers used to roast these pumpkin seeds so that they add on the zinc content. So zinc content helps in terms of fertility and it helps in terms of, so this, we've just infused it, right? So that at least it's more palatable. People can enjoy it. So it has got the fiber in it. It has got the pumpkin seed, good release of zinc and things like that. So you're just still snacking on the cookie that you like, but now it's been, modified to be something that, and now we don't throw away the butternut seeds. We don't throw away the pumpkin seeds. Now we can utilize them to make a commercially viable product. And I tell you, people love this thing. People love this thing. They, the sugar content is very low, Yeah, and
it tastes really good as well.
Yeah. And there's no butter, there's no milk, it's all vegan, So we are trying our best to just make sure we utilize whatever we have, but to make commercially viable products. And that's why you see that we can actually even export, because we are leveraging on our indigenous knowledge system. As we are entering into different markets, there's excitement to say, what? Zimbabwe. And we are known for organic products, natural products, authentic products. And as Glytime, I think we are giving that vibe.
Okay. Are you working with any smallholder farmers directly?
A lot of them.
Okay.
A lot of them. Directly, we have got a database of close to 100,000 smallholder farmers that feed into our channel in different ways. Honey, we've got a value chain. The pumpkin seeds, we've got a value chain. There are some small grains that we use, value chain. The peanuts, value chain. There's a lot that we do with smallholder farmers that feed into our ecosystem. So we have got a very huge ecosystem, and that's one thing that just make us smile every day to say, you know what, our impact is good, and we are doing what we can within our reach to also empower people. And I mean, it's fulfilling, and that's part of our core mandates as Glytime: scale, people orientation, impact, and sustainability. That's what we believe in, and I think we're achieving those goals very well.
Okay, I'm really trying not to distract you by eating this, but it's not working.
Yeah.
Okay, so one more question. I noticed that everything you do within Glytime, you are really focused on nutrition.
Yes.
And that's really interesting, because a lot of the packaged products are not that focused on it. Why are you so focused on nutrition?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, Ifoma. So I think we are being true to our values, right? Like I told you, our key values: 1, impact; 2, people orientation; 3, sustainability; 4, we want to change the narrative, right? So when you started this business, our main mandate was not profitability, was not to break the bank or make a lot of money, but it was to make a change, to give a solution to a problem that is in the economy, which is a problem of non-communicable diseases, which is a problem of malnutrition, which is a problem of food insecurity. So we are just keeping within our lane, being true to our values, what we believe in. Because ultimately, if we then chase money, we can now start doing anything, anyhow, and that's not what we believe in, and that's not what we want to do. We want to be that authentic brand. When people think nutrition, they need to think Glytime. When people think health, they need to think Glytime. So we need to give them the solutions. Ultimately, whenever somebody associates with a brand, they are looking for a solution to a problem. So we're addressing that problem and would remain true to our cause. So I think that's the reason why nutrition is very important to us, and that's why we have been so disciplined in keeping that, because I mean, people are losing life, people are getting sick, and somebody else has to do something about it. And if we don't take the initiative, and if we are not true to the cause, then we will not come up with a solution of the problem. So ultimately, this is our mandate, this is our heartbeat, and we'll do the best to defend that cause.
And this also ties into WFP's mandate on food and nutrition, doesn't it? Okay, so one more question on the products that you have. I know we've tried the granola and we tried the cookies that have pumpkin seeds. Interesting taste, very nice. What other things do you have within your range?
So we have got, a variety of things, but what I can tell you is everything that we have is plant-based. Everything that we have is, low sugar, low sodium, high fiber, zero cholesterol, which are the pillars of non-communicable diseases. Once you tackle on those issues, then you can manage non-communicable diseases. Because the building block of non-communicable disease is just one, the weight. Once the weight is not managed, then all the NCDs can accumulate. So we are trying by all means to limit everything that triggers the weight. So once we manage that aspect of weight, then we also manage that aspect of non-communicable disease. Because when you talk NCDs, is what's your BMI? What's your cholesterol level? Once those aspects are managed, so we are dealing on the root cause mainly and making sure that our products speak to address the root cause. Once we do that, at least we can. So there's a lot of research that is also still going, but we are just also consolidating what we have. And prehistoric, our forefathers used to live 100+ years. So we're just also following through what is it that they were eating. How is it that they were consuming things, and where did they change? So it's also a revolution for us. to say we are revolutionizing the way food is being taken, but just going back to the way we used to do things, but now in a more commercially viable, commercially oriented, and probably in a nice and more innovative way, so that it matches the trend, it matches the energy, it matches the values, and it matches, the spectrum at which people see things in a global world. So that's all we are doing as Glytime.
Right. Thank you. I'm just going to ask you something else off the cuff. I know you've talked about your products, but in terms of the food that you have in Zimbabwe, which is your favorite? What would you say is your favorite food?
That's a very good one.
If you had to pick one, what would it be?
My favorite go-to is, we call it Sadzarezhio.
Okay, translate.
It's a small grain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so small grains, we've got millet, sorghum, and things like that. So the red millet, sadza, or the red millet pap, they'll call it. Yeah, that I really like. Even the porridge I like. Why? Because it also has the same effect, low energy release. It helps you with weight management. It has got all these nice attributes in it. So yeah, and it's very tasty. And every time I have a visitor coming in from, I always just make sure we cook the Sadzarezhio, because it also communicates who we are as a people. We never used to be corn sadza people. We imported that tradition here, and if you go anywhere in the world, they will tell you this is probably for dairy, for milk production, right? So it's just that for me, it connects with the culture, it connects with the heritage, it connects with the indigenous value. So yeah, that's my go-to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your whole plan is to make sure that we all become more healthy, eating nutritious stuff, right?
Yes. It's a revolution. And if we are not intentional about it, Ifoma, I can tell you, we are losing the market, because in other regions, like I've mentioned, you go to Europe, standard life 84 years. Asia, standard life 84, 86 years. You come here in Africa, standard life is less than 50 years. So there's something wrong about our dietary regimes. So we need to be intentional to transform the dietary regimes. Once we transform the dietary regimes, we have longer lives. We have more healthier days. We tend to see our children, our grandchildren. We also can sustain our businesses cross-generational, because we die early and we leave these businesses, all the efforts goes to drain. So to me, it's a Pan-African mindset. It's a transformation. It's a revolution to say, guys, let's transform this space. Let's do the most in making sure that we keep ourselves healthy. Once we do that, more productivity, more, our lifespan, our active mind also can generate more ideas, because we are in a healthy state. So that's, for me, it's really something that I speak with passion. It's something that I need to drive to the end of it.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's just tie this all together now. I know we've spoken about different things, but I just wanted to end, before we end, just to talk about Glytime, WFP. Where do you see the kind of partnership we can have? Where do you see us working together? Holistically now, what are the actual practical things that you think we can do together?
Okay, so I think our values, we share a lot in common. We want to help. We want to help in terms of dietary transformation, in terms of nutrition, in terms of resilience, in terms of food security, in terms of self-sustainability, which is what we believe in. So I think we now need to co-curate the solutions of the problems that we have, come together, co-curate, create a hub. Now that, because we are no longer receiving much from the donor community, now let's create an ecosystem where our people participate, where us as private players participate, where you as WFP, we ride on the ecosystem that you have, the network that you have. We grow together, we make Zimbabwe, Africa, and the world a better place.
Okay. Thanks again, Lesley. Just wanted to know, do you have any words for the young people, any parting shots, as you said, for the young people?
Yeah, no, thank you, Ifoma. What I can say is we cannot stop going to war because of the terrain. The terrain is going to be hard, but we will not stop going to war. inflation is going to happen. Currency is going to be eroded. A lot of challenges are going to come. We are going to lose money. There's a lot that is going, but we won't stop going to war because of the terrain. Or we won't stop gladiating because of the turbulence. It's not the weather that matters. It's the resilience that matters. We need to carry that resilience. We need to be people of courage. We need to soldier on and make sure that we realize our dreams. So dream on, young people. But what is important is to work on your dreams, realizing those dreams in this generation, not in the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lesley, and thanks for being on the show with us today. Thanks for being on the podcast, and thanks for answering our call. Thanks for the great stuff that you've said to the youth right now. I don't know how I'm going to be able to top that. And to all of you who are watching and listening to us as well, thank you for being on the show with us. We hope to see and to hear from you again soon. You've been watching Bites of Change. My name is Ifeoma Garba.
Thank you for listening to and watching Bites of Change, a WFP Zimbabwe podcast series. I know you had a great time listening to this and watching it as well. We hope you tune in next time. And before the next episode, if you need to get in touch with us, please look at the numbers on the screen and the email address as well. If you have any feedback for us and you want us to discuss anything else, do get in touch with us. We're always here to listen, just like we're always here to serve. Join us next time. Thank you.